horses, but we lead horses, not sheep. Remember, you can always lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Because here at Leading Horses, we're not just about sports and music, we talk about life as well. And you can't get to the sports and music if you're not taking care of life first. I'm not a psychologist. I didn't go to psychology. I did in high school, but I'm not a therapist. But it is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And I commend any man that took that step to go to therapy or taking that step to go to therapy. I salute. I think that is a bold, courageous act, and I think more of us need to do that. I just recently saw Mahershala Ali on the LeBron James podcast with Steve Nash, and he talked about an interesting story, man. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but it raised a point for me, and it made me reflect. Well, I had a recollection on Father's Day, back to a time for myself, but I saw this video the next morning.
About to play for a black coach too? Oh snap, never had this experience. And he goes, Herschel, for us to be successful your freshman year, you're gonna have to average 22 points a game.
She got into acting. That was pretty good.
22 points a game my freshman year for us to be successful. Oh, my grandfather is smiling ear to ear. I'm like, okay, coach, good to meet you. We'll give it some thought. He leaves. I don't know. Same week probably, if I'm not mistaken. My high school coach wanted me to go to Santa Clara. So he goes, so Dick Davey comes over to the house.
That was my coach.
Yeah, at Santa Clara.
Dick Davey comes to the house. He says, good athlete, solid defender. Don't handle the ball very well. You don't shoot it well enough. You won't play your freshman year, but we'll take you.
What?
After he left, my grandfather could have kicked his ass like walking out. I was like, I was pissed and like, so the answer essentially was like,
I'm not going to Santa Clara, I'm going to St. Mary's.
It's like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
No-brainer. 4 years later, this MNF is getting drafted, and you know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. He had one scholarship offer in the United States.
That was it, yeah.
I had that offer first. I turned
That
it
is
down.
so wild.
That was not the advice. That was not what I wanted to hear. I went with who and what felt and sounded good.
Yeah.
And I did not average 22 points a game my freshman year. A career average probably like 3 points a game. It didn't, what coach said what Dick Davies said I would probably go through my freshman year to get to where.
It's what everything he probably went through. Exactly.
So I've always looked at you with it was just like seeing your lesson run around on the court every day. Or chasing it off of picks, you know. But I really like celebrate your success, and I really appreciate the impact, like your journey, your story, and like the little part I playing it from my perspective. You know what I'm saying? And it's wonderful to get to sit down with you.
That's incredible.
So he says that he thinks about this all the time because he pointed out that at the time Steve Nash only had one college offer, and it was Santa Clara. And we all know what happened to Steve Nash, one of the best point guards of all time, what he became. But Mahershala said that he reflects on that regularly because he thinks about what if. Basically, the doubt and the coach coming and pointing out his flaws kind of caused doubt, a fear, and he chose to go the other way. And he thinks about it often because he sees what Steve Nash became. And he noted, like I said, he noted that Steve Nash only had one offer. So it wasn't like Steve Nash was this world star, this world all-star that we see him becoming an NBA. He was just plain old Steve Nash, but he developed and became one of the greatest point guards of all time. So Mahershala says he thinks about that all the time to this day. He thinks back to that time and thinks like the what if. And it just got me thinking about fear. And because on Father's Day, it had me recollect about a time for myself in high school when I got cut. And when I got cut, Kobe Bryant was my favorite basketball player of all time. And I remember watching Kobe YouTube videos, watching the games as well, but watching him and watching how he trained. It was so many videos, so many montages of Kobe and how he attacked the off season.
That's the only way you get better is by pushing yourself past exhaustion.
Right now, imagine you wake up at 3, you train at 4, you go 4 to 6, come home, breakfast, relax, blah, blah, blah. Now you're back at it again, 9 to 11, right? Relax, and now it's done, you're back at it again, 2 to 4, and now you're back at it again, 7 to 9. Look how much more training I have done by simply starting at 4, right? And so now you do that, and as the years go on, the separation that you have with your competitors and your peers just grows larger and larger and larger.
And that really sparked me. It fueled me to where I was really relentlessly working on my game. My mom, I grew up in a single parent household. My mom, you know, when she wasn't around, sometimes wouldn't want me out and about, and I didn't always have access to a basketball goal. I didn't have a basketball goal at this time in my life. So when I didn't have access to a goal, I was still in my garage. I was outside in the driveway, working on my handles, doing handle drills, working on my body, just doing what I could. I didn't let anything stop me from making the team the next year. So the next season comes, I make the basketball team. But that's really where it stopped. Adversity hit, made the team, wasn't really prepared to attack the next challenge, which was, it was like I was so fixated on making the team. And once I got that, it wasn't like I just laid down, but it was like my mind, I wasn't really preparing for the next stage of competing for my job, for my position. And so I didn't get much PT, much opportunity. My grades were not good in the midst of all this. So I'm going to practice, busting my ass in practice, and my grades weren't good. So I made the decision to quit the team. I quit the basketball team, and it's something that I'm not proud of, right? But I made that decision, I made that executive decision to quit so that I could make sure that I didn't get held back. I hated school, I wanted to get out. I didn't want to be held back more than I had to. So I did that, graduated and all that. But yeah, I thought back to that time on Father's Day because it was a time where I went back and thought about in my life where I basically had a challenge that there was nobody else involved. I didn't grow up with a father. I didn't have any big brothers. I didn't have any men around me. And at that time, it was really just me. And I drew from that confidence when I thought back. For some reason, like I said, this Father's Day, I woke up that morning, wrote a poem, and I went out to shoot some hoops. And when I was out there shooting, for some reason, I thought back to that time. I mean, you could say it was Father's Day or whatever it was, but for that reason, I thought about that and it really hit home. Like, yo, what did I do to reach where I wanted to go? It was a time where I cut out everything, whatever I had to do that was necessary. Wasn't hanging out, isolated myself, was really just locked in. I did whatever was necessary. And so I drew from that in my own life to where I'm like, yo, when I set a mark, when I set a goal, it sounds cliche, but it's real. Like, do whatever is necessary. If it means cutting out certain people, if it means making sacrifices, whatever it is, don't let anything stop you from reaching that milestone, that goal. And like I said, if I was wiser, that wouldn't have been my end goal. I wouldn't have been so focused on making the team. It would have been focused on making the team, but also what do I bring to the table? What do I bring to the table? A specific part of my game that I can bring to the table for the team, not just making the team, but what am I going to bring to the team, not just make the team. And yeah, so it's very key. Intentionality is key. Me and my friend, my homie, I consider my brother, Rob, we talk about this word a lot, intentionality. And don't just aimlessly go for things. You got to be intentional. Really believe in what you're doing and be intentional in what you're doing. But fear, it was the fear of once I made the team, you know, how am I being looked at? I'm riding the bench, you know. I'm not where I want to be. I'm busting my ass. I'm coming out here. How do I look? I'm doing all of this. I'm a part of the team, but I'm not really feeling a part of the team. And I wasn't the only one on the bench, right? But it wasn't where I envisioned myself, right? And yeah, it just really hit home for me. But on that note, you know, about fear and stuff, like even where I'm at today, I made a leap to move from somewhere I was living, and I had this vision way back though in high school. If you back to those days, I had a vision to be where I'm at today. I detoured that vision for over a decade, bro. Like when I really think back, it was over a decade. Because it was like the questions, like how am I gonna get there? It doesn't make sense, you know. All my family was, my immediate family was over there where I was at, and it just didn't make sense. In my brain, I was like, how am I gonna get there? How am I gonna get here? But I had these visions in high school, and fast forward today, I am carrying out these visions. But I had a vision back then that right when I got out of high school, I was gonna make this move and I was gonna do X, Y, Z. I didn't do it through fear. And I would just say to anyone out there, don't let fear outweigh prophecy. Don't let fear ruin your vision. Like I said, it sounds cliche about fear, but when you can actually draw from real life occurrences, just recollecting your past of a time that you got through something, you got past something where the odds were stacked against you. And like even here, I'll be transparent. When I moved out here, I didn't have anything. Like I literally built from the ground up, left my car, of course, place where I was living. I moved out here and was living in a motel, bro. I moved out here and was thugging it out in a motel for over a year. Yeah, as soon as I moved out here, it was hard times. Literally, like the day before my flight to move here, my account got hit and I lost over, you know, a good amount. Most of my savings got depleted. And I still, you know, I already had my plane ticket, had everything packed. I already had my plan and my transfer for work, and moved out here, thugged it out in the motel. And where people was just like, yo, what are you doing? You know, why are you doing this? And like I said, this was just a vision for me. And I was so unhappy in the place where I was at over there. And I was like, man, I gotta do something. I gotta do something. Like I'm tired of just going with the flow, and I gotta do something. So I made the jump. And to this day, even in the motel where I was living and grinding to save up and get my car and all this other stuff, like through that process, I can say I was happier. And it was a dark time because, you know, not to go off the rails, but it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, right? So I'll be more transparent. As soon as I moved out here, my aunt, no longer than 2 months, got the call where she basically turned into a vegetable. Long live on Angela. But she turned into a vegetable. She blacked out, passed out, and she, woke up, in the hospital, all that stuff, and was a vegetable. And getting that call from my mother, who had just moved back, she had just moved back when I moved from there. She was living in Texas, and she moved back out there. And getting that call from her and, my cousins and relatives, and feeling like I couldn't get back out there, bro, because I was living in the motel, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to save up to pay my motel weekly. And I didn't have the funds to get a flight. And also my job wasn't letting me leave. But I didn't have the funds for that. So I missed the funeral. I missed all of that stuff. And it was hard on me. I was very depressed. But even going through that, I can say during that time, I felt more alive, and I can't even say the word alive because I was down. It was a dark time, but through that, I always felt that I was in the right place. As far as long term, I was in the right place, and I didn't regret the move. I did hate the fact that I missed out on that, my aunt, and I felt it took me a little while to get over feeling like I felt like my cousins and them. I feel like they felt like I maybe didn't care as much as I do, and and my family in general, I felt like they felt like that, but yeah, that happened. But I can say, like, through all of this, I feel, fast forward after some time, I still feel happier here. I feel happier here than I did there. I feel like I made the right decision by moving. And I'll say to anyone, don't let fear outweigh your prophecy. Don't let fear outweigh your vision. Like, we all have visions. I won't say we all, but we have visions. He gives us visions. Our Creator gives us visions for a reason. Don't let the enemy, don't let fear, circumstances, no matter what's going on, come in between that. You're unique. You're you for a reason. You have those visions. You have that prophecy. I can say for myself, I feel like I am a prophet. Not like some crystal ball stuff, but he speaks to me, he talks to me in many ways, and it took a while to accept it. I guess it would just be like I would call things and things would happen, right? And I would know, like, deep down with me, I'm like, man, like, I be knowing something. I'm knowing something, right? And like I said, not saying like I'm some what's her name? Not saying I'm Miss Cleopatra or something, right? Mr. Cleopatra, not like that, but he speaks to me, and it took a while to accept it. But after, man, it's just been a while. Like, things keep aligning, things keep happening, and I'm just like, I just accept it. It is what it is, right? And so with that being said, like, looking back, everything full circle, looking back to then with the visions in high school, looking to where I'm at now, and I'm like, man, it was so much, it's so many things where I've been blessed since making that move, that jump, in ways that I was not blessed in that state, that place where I was in. And I feel like I stepped into what he has for me. And it was on the other side of fear, on the other side of doubt. I think also surrounding yourself with the right people, right? Iron sharpens iron. But you can have people around you that are your friends. I say friends like this because I've always been vocal about it. I'll say actions speak louder than words. And I feel things, right? Like I can feel energy. People can be saying they're your friends and this and that, but the way that they move, the way, the energy they possess towards you, it can be off-putting. And being around those people, they just have all kind of different tactics, whether it's manipulation, deception. With that being said, it can have you feeling like you're tripping, right? At the same time, y'all are not gonna be aligned. So you might be trying to go one way and they might just be cool where they're at. I don't judge them, you know. I don't judge anybody for that. I want the best for everybody, I honestly do. I can say that 100% real. I want the best for everybody. But there are people that their actions don't say that. They can say one thing, and like I tell people all the time, I'm big on not the I love you stuff. I'm big on not having to say that, right? Your actions are gonna show me more than you just saying, like reiterating. You could tell me 1,000,000 times, I love you. And I can tell you once, or I can tell you 0 times, but my actions, I'm gonna show it. And you should just notice that, like, hey, that man got love for me. Like he really wants what's best for me. Where I'll be transparent again, you know, I won't go too much into detail, but now I can kind of see it and say I'm blessed, but you know, me and my family, we went through something traumatic, and it was a blessing in disguise. And I say that, still haven't accepted that, but you know, full circle, I think that it blessed me in a way of being able to separate words from actions at a very young age. Like even before I knew everything that was going on, I didn't even know until the future. I'm not gonna go into that, but through being backstabbed and through things of that nature, like I learned that words don't mean a damn thing. They don't mean for real, for real. And I know that people will use words to manipulate, to have you off guard. But you know I love you, you know this is nah, you don't. Your actions don't show it, right? And I learned that at a very young age. So with that being said, I've always been someone that I think I was described for a while growing up as more of a quiet, or people might have took it as shy, or maybe I was. I think when I was very young, I wasn't known as shy, right? But it was like a shift in middle school, when I entered middle school, where I was more reserved. And I just was more observant. I think observant is more the word than shy. I just knew that to watch people, watch their actions, and I was more reserved. And with that being said, like I said, with friends, you'll have people that are claiming they are your friends, your loved ones, and their actions don't really align with what you would expect from a loved one or a friend. And it made me think about something. And it just made me think, like I said, about friends. The friends that you have, the company you keep, you gotta watch them, man, because I'm not saying anything foreign that goes on where people have people that they're trusting and that they're calling friends, loved ones, and they really don't have your best interests at heart. Whether it's resentment because they're not chasing their own dreams or whatever it is, I don't know, right? Because I can't relate to that. Honestly, I really can't. There's times when I wasn't doing what I wanted to do. Like I said, I wasn't chasing mine out of fear or whatever, but I had friends that were doing theirs, and I would still show love. I would still support. And it wasn't like a half-ass support. I was there like, yo, I'm here with you. You know, whatever I can do, I want to support you. Yeah, so I don't relate to that, but I'll just say, watch the company you keep. In honor of Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I did just want to speak on that. So I just wanted to share, and hopefully this reaches and touches somebody, and you know, it resonates with somebody. But it's Leading Horses, where we lead horses, not sheep. Remember, you can always lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe. There'll be more of this. But I salute on the quest for the tribe.